Who's that? Entering the ring swinging a folding chair? Why, it's Wandering Monster. Roll initiative!
Hello again, and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's tabletop showcase. And one day we'll get around to changing our bio to reflect that fact. I am Charles R. Bernard.
I'm Bridget Brave.
Ian Servas.
Kevin Welch.
Mr. Paschke.
And as you can tell from the fact that I'm in your grill again, Mr. Baltusberger has the night off. Tonight he is out pumpkin patch picking, which is an odd thing to do in December, but he likes the black, kind of like frostbitten, rindy ones.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to go get some of those pumpkins and make some bad pumpkin pie. I am your host for the evening, and tonight I get to talk about one of my favoriteest things to talk about that I don't talk about very often, and that's wrestling, hot man-on-man action. I love it, and I've loved it since I was a kid. In fact, one of the things I thought about opening tonight with was a true story about the time that 80s wrestler Jake the Snake almost made me shit in my pants as a kid by scaring me when I went to go see WrestleMania Live at the Delta Center with my dad. But instead, I thought I'd talk about how wrestling is something that unites the world. We all know about Greco-Roman wrestling. You know, we have the famous art of the sumo. We have American wrestling, which is varied from like Olympic-style actual wrestling to pro wrestling to UFC. You have submission-based wrestling, like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has a lot of what could be considered wrestling in it, in MMA. And of course, south of the border, we have the subject of tonight's wonderful game, Lucha Libre. And tonight, to reflect the glory that is Lucha Libre, we will be playing crime-fighting luchadors. And I will now let our forever GM and one handsome son of a bitch, Ian Servas, tell you
about
more.
me. So, as you stated, we're playing Crime Fighting Luchadors, and this is a product of Head Cheese. And it's packed full of great art from Evelyn Moreau, and there's a lot to love here as far as capturing that vibe of just like outlandish, over-the-top wrestling antics, the things that really draw in the crowds, and it really distills the energy down to a really nimble 3D dice pool kind of base game. So Head Cheese actually right now is running a Kickstarter right now for an expansion for more content, and that link that is in our socials will take you to that Kickstarter so you can help support and bring this to life. The game has a lot of really great tables to help you to really quickly make your own luchador from what their archetype is, and you can then decide if they're heel or face, what their special move is, their allies, their gear, and other kind of fun little tiddly bits. So all the characters that we're going to be playing tonight are randomly rolled off these tables, and it's a whole heck of a fun. So it's going to be really fun as our cast introduces themselves one by one. But we definitely need one person that is more macho than the others who's going to interrupt me and introduce them.
Can you hear that? It's just faintly. I'm a rocket man, rocket man, burning out my fuse, I'll be here alone. And that's right. Tonight I will be playing Rocket Man. My archetype is the human torpedo, so think Rey Mysterio, basically, for you American wrestling fans, or like anything for you lucha fans. I will never be bullied again, is what powers me. I love this description of my appearance. It only really needs one thing that I'm going to add. Silver sparkly suit with racing stripes, like you put Elton John and Evel Knievel in a blender. The only thing that I could add to that possibly is a sparkly silver feather boa, which I'm going to add. Yeah, and you'll get to hear what my special moves are when we get in the ring, my friend. And it says here I have an ally. Is that something I should say? No, that's the way you use
Everyone
game, right?
has a person that,
okay, cool.
Depending on what your relationship is, they may or may not know who your actual identity is besides your persona. Someone you can tap into for contacts around the city, for information, or just someone to tell about your crime fighting day to. And I should also say, since I've got the little spotlight again that Head Cheese is with us live in the chat. So
Awesome.
thank you for joining us all the way from Muscle City.
Thank you, Mr. Cheese.
All right, I will. I will go next. Sorry. Would you like to go next, Kevin?
No, I will go after you.
All right. I was just going to introduce myself. I am El Rampacarazones. I am the Suave. So I am a very. I'm kind of like the luchador version of Pepe Le Pew. I am here for love. I will find it in the ring or outside of it. So yes, my special move, I have a backbreaker. So the most romantic of wrestling moves. If you look at the positioning of that, it's clearly the most romantic of all wrestling moves. So
Absolutely.
Facts.
Yes.
Backbreaker or bedbreaker? Which one?
Why limit yourself?
See how the night goes. Get it?
It blows Shorty's back out. That's all you need to know.
Well, I'll go next. I'm playing El Cucaracha. The archetype is the beast. I'm secretly a monster underneath my mask, but you'll never know because I'm not taking it off. I'm wearing a dark brown suit that's roughly looks like a cockroach that's had a couple of beers, cucaracha borracho, if you will, just beat up. On the suit itself, it looks like it's got like extra limbs kind of coming out. That's because I'm a beast. I'm a mutant. I've got mutations. I've got actual cockroach limbs coming out of my sides, and then on the back where you think it's like a cape, it's actually the cockroach's wings. I'm driven for vengeance. I didn't start off this way. I was just a normal street rat, if you will, and I was swooped up by some sort of genetic conglomeration. They're like, let's put things in him and see if we can make him better like the cockroach. And El Cucaracha was born. So here I am. And you don't get to learn about my special move until I beat you in the ring. Brother.
A freak show.
You're going nowhere. Well,
3 minutes later.
that's not.
You keep doing that, and I'm going to start going, yeah.
That is not.
I really hope like your human name is like Franz. Thank you for the the two people that probably got my Kafka reference. Thank you.
What was the character's name? It was shit. I used to know that. Gregor Samsa.
Oh yeah. Gregor
Someone will
Samsa.
correct us in the chat. That is what the internet is for.
That is what the internet's for.
All right, that leaves me. So I'm playing. You see, what the door opens, right? The curtain, the music, and out comes my hype man, who is my only ally, the antique dealer. So you see this little old man who arguably owns a china shop, and he is got the microphone, and he just starts, "You're all gonna get it today, because my china shop door is open, and when my door is open, the bull runs through." And that's when El Toro comes out, which is Spanish for the bull, I believe. It's also a size of cigar. So 6 inches, 54 ring gauge cigar in his mouth while wearing a bull mask, which I have to assume he's got a horned helmet on top that he takes off before he fights, and then they're just there, but he tries to leave it on as long as possible as an advantage. They didn't specifically say that on my character sheet, but I want to go with it. By agreeing, just say nothing, Ian. Thank you. We'll move on.
I like
Ian
that you have done the Baltusburger bargain early in the game, so it's got out of your system.
That was a different tactic. I tried to move it quickly enough so you couldn't tell me
I
no.
was trying to shoehorn that interjection in and cut you off. That sounds good to me.
Well, Wear a red cloak. That's what you get to know for now.
So, like, I am legitimately heartbroken. That sounds like the idea for the greatest, like, 80s wrestling ringside manager in history, the antique dealer, like Paul Bearer. He'd just be like, I'm heartbroken that wasn't actually, like, that you weren't one of the writers, Paschke. That would have been fantastic.
All right, then. With the team introduced, the one thing that really stands to be introduced is what your team name is and where your secret location is.
Well, I think that we have to have Paschke
Yeah.
pronounce it properly. If you remember what it was, Paschke.
I would love to. Yeah. If I remembered or thought to write it down, being the guy who's always fiddling with a pencil while we play, who would have been the right person to take a note on something like this. But here we are now.
I'll whisper it to you. It's
okay.
Star Spangled Thunder Fox.
Thanks. We are the Star Spangled Thunder Fox. Thunder Fox. Thunder Fox.
Ooh, there's a reverb now.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh,
And
and our
we have a
base of
houseboat.
operations. Yes, we do. Let's call it the I've been
Love boat.
reading one of the Gaunt's Ghost books, and there's a ship in one of the later books called the Armid, and like I want to call our ship the USS it's the Armaduke, and I want to call our ship the USS Marmaduke. Because I'm calling the ship Marmaduke in my head the whole time I've been reading this thing.
Nice.
Perfect.
All right. So there's definitely like a faded peeling decal of like the Marmaduke dog, like next to the name. Like it's like a big sticker that was not water safe that was just slapped on the side of the boat. All right.
Marmaduke, you can't fit in that chair.
Ooh. So all of you are having a really nice float in Marmaduke. You're out here on this nice lagoon of one of those filled in like old. I am blanking on the name for quarry. One of those filled in quarries that they turn into. Right. They're all over. Like every city has little quarry pools, and so like your houseboat is just scenically floating around in Muscle City, and you see that the little light up buoy that always has the supplies that brings them to your secret lair comes floating up. You see that there's your various bags of cockroach chow, all the beer and seltzers that you've ordered, and on top, along with all your sundry things that help to power your crime-fighting unit, is today's daily newspaper. And as the good crime-fighting detectives you all are, you know that is nothing really starts the day off than a good newspaper read as a team. So. Who grabs it?
I love her not.
Okay, guys.
So.
No. Yeah.
I was gonna say, hey guys, who can read?
I don't know if El Toro can read, but his manager can.
Yeah, I was gonna say El Cucaracha has been on top of the houseboat, kind of just sunbathing in the Speedo, making sure he doesn't have any of the tan lines, with all of the other arms kind of applying various oils to kind of get that nice deep tan, and he's just basically littered with seltzer cans and well, obviously cockroach chow since you threw that out there. So he's pretty much passed out in the sun right now while applying oils. And
Who among us is not passed out while applying oils?
Just like one arm is probably eating like cockroach chow. Living the dream.
Yep. Twinkie wrappers everywhere because just me, the other cockroaches, and the Twinkies are the only things that are going to survive the
Mhm.
So it sounds like, and what is the short moniker that people call your character, Bridget, like your team? Just
They just call me Suave.
Suave. All right. So Suave, you probably are the most literate of the group. Is kind of what I'm figuring. Is that?
It sounds like it. I will read when pressed, but
Gotta know how to write down names and numbers, phone
Right.
numbers. So.
I'm imagining that you've probably gotten a lot of practice reading the newspaper because you keep putting like ads in there, just like full page pictures of you that's just like showing off your latest looks and trends for all of your fans to admire you. So you've learned to read more than just the comic
I also
panel.
like to read the
So is your-
personal or the classified section to make sure that there's no court notices for me.
Ah.
Very important.
That's the benefit of working and living on a houseboat, is that it's very hard to get served. So as you're scanning through the newspaper, you see the front page really just captures your attention, because there's this grisly picture of what looks to be like a school on fire, and there's like very weird blurry pictures of strange figures, almost look like knights and dinosaurs in the background. It's like totally bizarre, something almost out of like Batboy worthy tabloids. The newspaper says there's a siege presently taking place at Muscle City Junior High. Several students and members of the personnel have been injured. Some are even fighting for their lives as we speak, and are recovering at the intensive care unit of the local hospital. The police have managed to escort some of the wounded away from the high school, but the majority of them are still believed to be trapped inside the building. The authorities refuse to speculate on the nature of the threat before further investigation. All we know for sure at the moment is that law enforcement has erected a security perimeter around the school and won't venture inside the building before military reinforcements have arrived. The authorities want citizens to know that they are hard at work identifying the nature of the threat and elaborating the safest rescue plan. In the meantime, they ask the population to remain calm and not to interfere with the ongoing operation. However, it's difficult to speculate about the incident. Is it another school shooting, some type of terrorist attack, chemical warfare, the start of an epidemic? According to rumors, the victims who were successfully rescued are unable to share any coherent information due to being in a state of shock. Among them was the school janitor, Ernest Doyle, and the science teacher, Archibald Coleman. More details to come. It's quite a juicy headline that really seems to pop out and beg for the attention of some type of crime-fighting unit, something, Star Spangled Thunder.
Star Spangled Thunder fucks.
Thank you.
I tried.
Fucks.
So, I guess we should go do something.
Yeah, we should probably go rescue the junior high. It is a junior high though.
Yeah.
I
Those
mean,
kids
They
are
kind
awful
of had it
sometimes.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're probably dicks
Yeah.
to their parents.
To everyone, really.
Mhm.
So let's
Just being
let's-
edgy.
let's go dock Marmaduke, or do we have jet skis to get to shore to and from the? I like to imagine we each have a
Please,
jet
jet
ski.
skis.
Come
Please,
on.
jet skis.
Yeah,
It's the
That's how we
houseboat's
get
gotta be
to and
slow. We have to
from-
have out of necessity.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that is
so
an
we
asset that you can. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's an asset that some people have or may not have, are vehicles. There's one amongst you who actually does have a vehicle as a starting asset, and that is you, Suave, and I see you've just changed it to
Oh no,
jet
I had
skis,
already
so-
changed it to jet skis. I went into this jet skiing. So yeah, let's
Fantastic.
And
Good
and
report, the
let's just say,
houseboat.
I love when I'm playing.
for the purposes of this game setting, let's just say that much like Venice, Muscle City is just filled with canals,
yes.
so that we
Canal
could actually use
system.
these to get so that we could actually use these to get somewhere on land.
You can use them on land. It's just a lot louder.
Super slow, too. Super slow. Are we saying that
I
we have a
always forget the
four-person jet
difference.
ski?
I drew 4 different jet skis.
I have
We can erase that if we
can
want
you
a
draw
4-person.
one with like 3 sidecars.
Yeah,
No, I
Yeah.
think
I'm on it.
I think we each get our own so that it can match our outfits, right?
Mm.
Like, I want mine to be all.
I
silver
already
and
erased
sparkly.
it.
Okay, all right. Paschke's pencil is the final arbiter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you can keep your own head
And for
canon.
those of Yeah. For those of you curious as to what he's scribbling at there, we will post his jottings when this episode goes up, if not before. So make sure to watch our Twitter at OneMoncast for more, or the Madness Art Press Instagram, or Paschke's Instagram to see those.
They're amazing pictures.
Super awesome.
Thanks,
So-
guys.
Your crime-fighting instincts, I mean to say insects, there's only one insect.
Right
Where
here.
do you want to start launching your investigation?
Should we
Um,
interrogate the janitor first? See if we can get any information out that the authorities haven't.
The thing is that the newspaper
can
article
check.
said that they were in shock. I don't know if we'll get anything. We can try. We can go to the hospital first. I don't see any harm in that.
There's also the morgue there, so we could check the dead bodies for clues. Like maybe there's some gunpowder residue from some kind of exotic firearm that is fueled by kerosene. I don't know.
Okay.
Or maybe we can just put our fingers in their mouths, whether they've been shot or not. You know, just because.
Yeah.
Can I just ask why we are not taking the approach of finding a sexy librarian to explain, or entomologist to explain everything to us?
You know,
I say we
someone
interview
has-
the sexy librarian or entomologist because
Mhm.
now that's just the only option I want.
Because you want Ian to roleplay a sexy entomologist.
Yeah, we do.
Well, he
Yeah.
already does in my head, so why not have it on stream?
Famously, in middle school, I did my science fair project on the nutrition value of eating insects. So I calculated how many of different types of common insects you need to eat to stay alive. So I guess you could say I'm a little bit of an armchair entomologist. I will let the sexy part be up to you.
I love that we suggest that Ian do a sexy entomologist and he goes straight to bug eating. Just
Hey,
It's the
real men
sexy
eat
part.
bugs. If your lover doesn't eat bugs,
Yeah.
Right. So are we starting off? So which are we heading towards first? And going for the hospital and seeing if we can track down the survivors in the morgue, or the sexy librarian entomologist fantasy of your dreams?
I think that's just. I think that's Suave's. Fantasy life talking
I
out
think-
loud. I think we're
I
headed.
think Cucaracha was going to go with me. so-
Yeah, no, I'm in.
Maybe. Do we
I'll be
split
your
the party?
wingman.
By the way, what is a sexy entomologist going to tell you? Like
About bugs.
I
We're
don't.
researching our
Right.
enemy.
Do we know that our enemy is bugs?
Maybe someone has a contact that has a contact
Right.
with a sexy entomologist.
Why are you
librarian.
trying to shut down my sexy entomologist?
Yeah. What did the sexy entomologist ever do to you, Charles? Jeez.
And what have we ever been goal oriented? That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm gonna say if you find
yeah.
the sexy librarian entomologist, it's gonna be young Jeff Goldblum from like early stages of The Fly.
Such a hunk. Holy shit. People forget.
You had me at home.
Never forget.
So as we're jet skiing over to shore, we probably need a ride. So I'm going to call my ally, the taxi driver. Baz is his name because I just named him. Baz, I know you're watching. To pick us up, and then as we wait for him to show up, we can figure out where the hell we're going to go.
Absolutely. Bob shows up right on time, and you can see maybe he got there even before you docked your jet skis because you see there's lots of burnout marks on the pavement. Like he's just been perpetually just doing donuts waiting for you. And his customary Boz is this absolutely blasting the Crazy Taxi like soundtrack as loud as he can, testing the hydraulics and suspension of his system, and waves you all in. You can tell he's like shouting something at you, but all you're hearing is like lots of very loud like ska and like Sega music at the top of the speakers.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Now we just have to decide where we're going again. Morgue?
Morgue.
I like it.
Yeah.
See,
Morgue or
librarian
fantasy?
entomologist?
Do people bump chiptunes? I wonder. I maybe some of them do. Yeah, I think that we should probably head to the hospital and maybe there divide our efforts into those who'd like to interview the janitor and those who'd like to go put our fingers in corpses' mouths.
Perfect.
Yes.
Wonderful. So you take, it's the loudest you've ever been in a taxi, and you've also basically hit every curb along the way possible, and eventually you pull up in front of the Muscle City Memorial Hospital for memorized muscles or something like that. Large statue of like a beefcake of a person just such covered in muscles you can't even tell out their features, but you can tell that there's at least 17 and a half abs on them. It's quite glorious.
Beautiful.
So who is going to hunt down Mr. Ernest Doyle, and who's going to the morgue?
I'm in for the morgue.
I'm down with the morgue.
I thought we were going to
damn
split
it,
the
I got
party.
iced
Are all
out.
picking morgue?
All right.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's all go to the morgue.
We're all going to the morgue.
I said I was gonna do it, and if you think I'm backing down, you're wrong. I'm putting my fingers in that mouth.
So this game assumes that you have all, as a team, done crime fighting in the past. What is your group? I was going to ask what your notoriety is when you just show up at the hospital and say, take me to your morgue. Are people in awe of your presence? Do they know who you are? Or are they like, oh no, not these chuckle thunder fucks?
I mean,
It's in the name, though.
I would like to think that as Thunderfucks, we think that we are very popular and famous, but their perception of us might be a little different.
I'm quietly losing my shit over Chuckle Thunder. Oh. Wordplay, sir. Excellent. I applaud you.
Finally, I get a point. I'm assuming that's a point.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Well, at
that's definitely a point. Oh. Yeah.
All right, so people have heard of you. It's a mixed bag, and so when you say, "I need access to your morgue," there is a little bit of trepidation. There's a security guard, as customary to the Muscle City Memorial Hospital for memorized muscles. There's in order for you to get kind of full access to things that would normally be protected under HIPAA, one of you needs to outflex the security guard to kind of really prove your credentials that you're really doing crime fighting work. Who amongst you is stepping up to the challenge?
Yes, which one of us
No,
does have the most fabulous
I think I might, being that I am like not tank. What was it?
Brute.
The brute. I'm the brute. So that implies to me most brutish things have big muscles and such. Plus, I called dibs on being the only person here with a hype man, so I feel like I should have advantage.
Mm.
Oh,
Fair
that is a
enough.
very good point.
You brought
Yeah.
your hype man and you got him on the jet ski and through the taxi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
He
right.
sat
I just like
Is he just
am I
hyping
down?
the whole time?
Yeah.
that guy could sit on one of his shoulders. Like he's a
I was
very
gonna say, I
large
bet you
man.
just can like fold him like a Rubik's
Yeah.
cube and just like
Yeah, he just sits on my shoulders, holds onto the horns, and
Yeah.
we just go on little adventures.
I
He
want to
can
have him
slow
on
it down.
like a baby Bjorn right in front of you with his little
Mhm.
walker so that he could just break off and start hyping it up.
This
All
sounds
right.
more and more like a Master Blaster situation to me.
I mean, Parque de Todos. I mean, yes. Sometimes up here, sometimes here. It just depends. I mean, combo attacks. That's the game here, man. I just scored as a fifth player, right? Right? From what I understand the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the math checks out.
There's not actually considered to be a crime fighting luchador because that's a special class because it taps into your team morale ability and other things. So it would actually almost work against you if you had him count as a full luchador want to be. But you have him by your side and he's cheering you on. And I'll give you advantage for this because this is a little bit of kind of showmanship. But just don't get your double snake eyes on this, or else it'll go poorly for your little guy.
Okay. All
That
right.
hype man's real name, by the way, Ham Fun Senior here.
Trust fund.
I mean, I just have a note that says antique dealer. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will have
All right.
you
So
know.
I'm rolling.
Oh, it's because when I rolled your character, like I rolled and made this whole archetype, and I actually rolled ally last. I had made this brute with the bull, and I was like, that is some coincidence that the one ally I roll for you is a antique dealer for the whole bull in the china shop.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah. So is that 3 or 4d6? Because you said I have
It's
advantage
going
on
to
this
be-
one time.
Correct. So that's 3d6. You're going to drop the lowest die, and then you're going to be adding your muscle to that. So it would be pretty spectacular if you failed this somehow. Which looks
Yeah,
like that
adding my
face
muscle?
that you do. Okay.
What face? I don't have a face. You have a face. Have you ever thought about that? So that's 3 plus 4, then plus another 3.
Then that passes. Well, but you're only adding. You're only adding 2 dice. Not
Yeah, I
all
rolled 3, dropped the lowest,
Okay.
and then you said plus the
Gotcha.
muscle modifier, which is a 3.
Absolutely. Okay. Making sure that's correct. So you lean in and you just. Do you burst through your shirt intimidatingly, or you just roll it back and reveal your glistening muscles?
Well, so we go over, and I've got the hype man currently baby Bjorned, and I
Yes.
snap the straps, put him down. He's got a little walker, and on the he's got an old timey little megaphone thing that you see like movie directors do from like the 20s.
Mhm.
And it's just like, my champ here, #1, El Toro, and just starts hyping me up. And then as he does that, I do the thing where I turn around so like my back's to the security guard, and then I do that, and I just rip through my shirt, intentionally flexing my back muscles in a way so that every seam pops. And then I turn around and I 1970s Hulk it, and the rest of the shirt just drops off, and I'm just like, you're gonna let us in there. I should probably not do that voice, or we're all just gonna be doing that voice all night.
So security guard is just absolutely like a chiseled, wonderful, like just a hunk of a person. But when they flex, it's just not as glorious as used. Doesn't do the shirt burst because I mean it's a company uniform, and so there's just not as much pizzazz. So they let out just a little bit of a sad sigh as they realize that you have passed, and they flex this to where the morgue is. So you get your clearance to the morgue. So as you walk down there, you're already getting that aseptic smell of just all the different disinfectants that are just kind of layered over each other, just kind of making a really bad smell, to the point where it's probably almost worse and cloying than the smell of rotting flesh, but you'd rather not risk it and find out by not having that many chemicals. The morgue is cold, and you see that there are several gurneys that have been draped over, waiting for their autopsies with different toe tags and things. And they seem to be clustered together. Like you can see there's clearly a car accident section where there's like people have been scraped back together into a pile, but there's a kind of reserved. There is a section that all their toe tags have identified them as people from within the junior high or from around the grounds.
I put my finger in a corpse's mouth.
There's
Wait, a junior high corpse or an adult corpse?
Both,
Okay.
maybe.
Two for
There's a little as like gases escape from, at least you think they're gases.
Kind of looks
so
over
the-
and it's like,
Very
There's-
interesting. Thank you.
The first mouth that you probe into is cold and wet, and the other one is cold, sort of wet, and then like their dentures fall out, and then like they just start rattling in the back of the corpse's throat. What are you, the four of you investigating as you're looking at these corpses?
I look at my shout man, and I'm just like, "Did you know that guy?" And he's just like, "No." And then I walk to the next one. "Did you know that guy?" "No." Next one. "Did you know that guy?" "Wait, no."
I think you guys
So-
should be looking for like wound types.
Yeah, I was
maybe?
going to say maybe we
Yeah.
should see how they were injured.
Who would like to make a brains check as you start to analyze the bodies?
Oh, how are
I
my
literally
brains?
can't because I have 0 brains.
Yeah, I don't have.
"Jeez."
Yeah.
So this is not corresponding with how many dice you roll like in other games. Everyone can roll for any check because you have your 3 stats. It's just 2d6 plus your skill modifier. So
Ah.
if you have 0 brain, you're still rolling 2d6 because you still, by the curve, have an okay chance of passing. Remember, double sixes will always be a crit success. You have your resolve points that you can use to bump up a roll. So if you maybe roll a 7, you're right there at threshold of passing. You can burn a resolve point to bump to 8 so you pass. You can use hero points. So even before you roll, you can burn a hero point so then you can roll with advantage. And you can also spend hero points on your teammates as well. So you have options, even if you dumb.
I rolled an 11.
All right. So as you are looking at these corpses, the first thing that really strikes you is that all the wounds are different. Every single corpse that you're looking at has some type of different wound. You see one person has like large slashes that go all the way down to the bone, like they were just sliced by some type of like very sharp blade. Another body looks like it was ripped apart by like a thresher or claws or something, and there's still bite marks. Another body that has like powder burn wounds and seem to be peppered with some type of pellets or crude bullets. And another person that seems to have some type of kerosene antiquated gun damage. What was that you said at the very beginning, El Toro, about kerosene rifles?
Yeah, that was a theory that I heard on the internet that I didn't think was true, but maybe now it might be.
See, one person with kerosene, at least it would be indicative of that pattern,
Yeah.
or something very strange. There are more bodies, and the more of them you look at, they all have different like wound types, and even one person looks like they've been blasted with, or maybe they're repeatedly stabbed with a giant soldering iron, or maybe a giant laser.
Stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Does your mother sew? Boom! Get her
Never saw that.
Joe Dirt.
So, you know, I'm just saying, I'm leaning pirate here.
Well,
Go
you've got
on.
your cutlass. I mean, I don't know about the
No.
thresher. Other than that,
The laser's the only thing stumping me on this. Maybe they're space pirates. I don't know, but you know, we've got old timey guns and slashing, and just it sounds like pirates to me, man.
With that roll that you've got, when you look at that gunshot kind of thing, you do see that those little shots are lead, like crudely poured lead balls.
See,
pirates. All right, that's a
Yeah.
good
So-
working theory.
Back to the houseboat and we wait for pirates?
no, I think we
Unless
take
we're
the
the
jet skis
pirates.
to the pirates.
Oh, that's a better
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, I
Mhm.
like that too. Yeah.
What was that whole thing in Waterworld? What do they call the jet skis that they rode into battle? I don't remember. That was
A long time. I'd love to
I
watch
barely
that.
remember Waterworld. I have to think.
Oh man!
been
Every-
entirely long enough since I've seen that movie.
Every time I scratch behind like my ears or something, I think about like the gills. Like, what if I just like feel a gill, Kevin Costner style? Okay. Other information you'd like to gather? Oh, that would be a clue. So you have gotten the first clue point of the evening. So you can mark that on your sheet. For the home viewer who doesn't have a copy yet, clues help you to unravel the mystery, but then also can be used to activate the team's special attack ability, which they have yet to reveal what the name of their... Well, there's a lot that could be derived from your team name, so I bet there's going to be some fun derivative thereof.
I mean, I sort of feel like it should just be called the singular of our collective name.
Yeah. I mean,
The chuckle
we are the
fuckery.
Star Spangled Thunderfucks, and it is the Star Spangled Thunderfuck, and
Yep.
Mhm.
You know,
as it once was, it shall be.
I feel like AC/DC should be playing in the background or something. All right.
We'll feel it out.
other
It's the mood, you can't force it.
I'm not forcing.
So jet skis in Waterworld were thunder skis or wave rippers.
I love it.
wave rippers. That's what I remember. Rippers.
Yeah, they shout that.
Thank you.
Other things from the corpses or other things you want to do in the hospital?
I've accomplished my only desire here.
We've seen the wounds. We kind of have some idea of at least weaponry. They've got these, what's got slashing claws, old-timey lead-firing guns, and a laser. Answer that riddle, and we know what we're fighting.
Yeah. Pirates.
Maybe it's something that shifts
Space
shape.
pirates. Or space pirates. Just
Or
saying.
space
Or
pirates.
bugs. Or
Mhm.
it could be bugs.
Yeah, we should go ask
I'm
the
right
entomologist if
here.
he's ever seen anything like this.
I'm literally right here, guys.
I don't understand what you're talking about. What do you mean?
Always
My
blaming stuff
wings
on the
start to
bugs.
vibrate kind of
Yeah,
aggravatingly.
your costume. I'm always in my costume, the Speedo, and you're always
No.
in yours.
No,
That's-
no.
we're-
It's
we're
no,
just
no,
two
no. You
guys.
don't get
That's
it.
what we do.
It's not just a
Yeah, it's a concept. It's a concept that you came up with,
You're right.
and you've
You're
been
right.
doing it great. I'm really proud
Yeah.
of you.
Well, thank you. I mean, we have to stay in character no matter what. I get that, but no, it's really just
Don't break kayfabe. That's very important.
Yeah,
space pirates. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Fuck it.
yeah.
Space
Fuck
pirates.
bugs.
Let's do it. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Fuck space pirates. Maybe. Let's find out.
I mean,
Sexy but
Um,
librarians.
Yeah. I really want to talk to this entomologist librarian lady.
yeah, I feel like she'd have something to offer.
Mm-hmm. Like her phone.
Well, you can
Mhm.
crack open that dating sim as soon as we're done here and just have at it.
I've got the
Dating
mobile.
simulator. Okay.
Yeah, I guess we're junior high bound. Oh,
Yes,
hey,
to the junior high.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have to know the nature of the threat, but then I got a little something in my sleeve, my spangly sleeve.
Your spangly spandex
let's go to the-
sleeve.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Hard to get something up those sleeves. So let's head to the junior high.
Absolutely. So you call. Actually, he's never even left. Boz is still just doing donuts. Ambulances are trying to pull into the ER, and he's just causing an absolute riot. In fact, 2 ambulances have to be dispatched just to deal with how many pedestrians he's been striking as he's been burning out. But you can tell, like, somewhere in the hospital, someone is just like rubbing their hands together excitedly. It's like customers. let the man spin.
You loved Crazy Taxi, didn't you?
I actually have
Oh,
never
okay.
even played it like once.
Wow.
I had friends that bought the arcade, but
Wow.
I've never played it.
As the meter hasn't been running this whole time, has it?
Oh, it
Son
has
of a-
been.
All right, fine.
I mean, he hasn't stopped driving.
No, that's
so-
true.
But he's been picking up all the money from striking those pedestrians. So, like, your like meter money has been going up. All right. So you hop back in for a 15 tinnitus inducing minute ride to the junior high. As you start getting close to it, you see that there is a large police cordon. There's helicopters flying over, lots of news report like vans and like crowds of people that are angrily shouting. Police are doing their best to contain everything, and you see there's a lot of like men in aviator sunglasses, super dark, talking on big boxy radios to who knows exactly what. They all look to be on edge, and it almost seems like a powder keg of a situation. So the first thing you're going to need to do is figure out how to infiltrate the school or how to break this police
say we just-
cordon. I feel like
No, I
What if we
figured you
dress
know
like
him.
students?
Yeah. We could all put on costumes.
that's even better. I was
That's a
going to say we just
foolproof
walk
plan.
right through like we own the place, but all right. So
Well, I know how I could clear the cordon. I was just going to do a backflip over it, but that's my solution to basically everything.
But you
is
could do a backflip in costume,
Yeah.
in
Sure.
disguise. Yes.
But if the cordon is for whatever's going on in the junior high, I'm not sure how dressing up like students. I'm not sure the cops are going to be like, "Oh yeah, there's a shooting going on in there. You don't want to miss it. Like
See,
right this
that's
way."
the brilliance of
Let
it.
me-
Is
let me unlock the door.
Is the shooting still going on?
You get on
Because
in
it
there.
can't be
You
a
get on in
newspaper.
there.
We
You
went to
don't
the
wanna miss
hospital.
that.
Is this-
yeah, like it's like a siege. It just
Assault in preschool 13? No, joke's forced. Don't like
I
it.
felt good
No,
about
I
it.
thought that
Felt good
was
about it.
I thought that was brilliant.
Mhm.
I think maybe like I don't know. A cordon is usually like all the way around. I was gonna say like sneaking might be our
Oh.
best way.
I could talk to a cop.
Oh, do that.
I mean, we all can.
I mean, but
Not me.
I'm very charismatic.
Oh, then you should definitely talk to a cop.
Yes.
So there are tons of cops. Tell me about the one cop that you single out that you go up to talk to.
I'm going to go for the kind of dopey looking, obviously new one.
So, as requisite, he is eating a donut. He's a little bit pot-bellied, and he has a little shelf of crumbs. And you see that his name tag says Rookie Marmaduke Jr. the second
Okay.
on it.
So I'm going to approach.
And
I got a house.
No, and what more is there to Marmaduke?
well, so far it looks to be like a lot of stains, presumably chocolate, across the uniform.
Oh, I wouldn't presume that.
Maybe coffee. And as you begin to saunter your way over, his jaw just drops and just crumbs, just like masticated donut, just kind of
Ugh.
starts to like trail out of him. And he tries to fix his greasy hair and like get himself presentable as much as he can. Thinks about maybe brushing off the crumbs, but you see him very slyly brush the crumbs into his hand and then put it into his pocket for
I was
later.
going to offer to brush the crumbs for him. Just
I'm pretty
just
sure
take care of that
crumbs where
for
that
him.
came from.
And I'm going to say to him, Marmaduke, can I call you Duke? Duke.
Ooh, that's good.
Listen,
I like that.
what's inside that school looks like it's very dangerous. And when
It's okay.
when you are dealing with a dangerous enemy, you need dangerous allies. And I could tell that you are a man of great intelligence and impressive appetites. And I want to say that if you would let us inside, I think that I could be very, very grateful later.
Oh.
Yes.
Sarge says I'm not.
These. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sarge says I'm not supposed to tell people what's inside, but and he just takes too long looking at you from head to toe, giving you a little bit uncomfortably below the belt stare, and looks back up at you and you were saying something. He doesn't even have long enough hair to twirl, but he's like twirling his hair to try to be cute. He's like, what were you saying about being grateful if I let you in?
I let's just say that I have some experiences that I bet you have never had.
He visibly shivers, and it makes this whole thing more uncomfortable. And you can visibly see goose skin across his body. He goes, "Oh golly!" So you have advantage on persuasion rolls, and I really want to see how this plays out with the roll, because it's either going to be a smashing success or the one fluke failure. So please roll at your check at advantage. So I guess it'd be, you could use any of your stats for this. Basically, you could flex them with muscle. You could just show how limber and lithe you are with your acrobatics or your wit. With your
I'm
brains.
gonna do a
being charming.
One-handed back handspring with a double tuck for him, like a cheerleader move, like absolutely. Let's see how that goes. Let's see, my acrobatics is +1. Okay.
And I was curious, as for your version of the Suave, what do you have a traditional gender representation, or?
I was kind of picturing him as like a luchador Johnny Quest. Or not Johnny, Johnny Quest, Johnny
Bravo.
That was, that was his name.
Okay, great. I was trying to figure if you were like a male figure for the inappropriate staring location. Just making sure.
Oh yes,
inappropriately staring in the correct direction.
Thank you for checking. Yes.
And your roll.
Oh, sorry. It is. I did roll. This is the problem with the internet dice roller. I lose which tab it's in. 3, 4, and 1. So 8 total.
That is right on the mark. So you have done better backflips and stuff in your life, but you need just enough to impress Marmaduke Gomer Pyle over here. And he is squirming uncomfortably so with his excitement, and he goes, "Yeah, you can go in. Yeah, there's all kinds of real crazy shit in there, but you sound real experienced. I don't think nothing's gonna surprise you, but yeah, I think I saw some dinosaurs. Wow, I like dinosaurs.
All right.
I tell you, I'm a cop.
I think I might have just figured out what our enemy of the day is, man. They're like, didn't you say that some of the bodies had like burn marks, like from like a laser gun, Ian?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got fucking like dinosaurs with badass laser harnesses. That would explain the claws, the threshing, the burning. I don't know who's riding them, but they're armed with much inferior
Pirates.
Or bugs.
Yeah. So I guess that's what they're driving. Not a boat. They're driving big ass dinosaurs.
We're doing a crossover with our Cosmosaur gameplay from the other day.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
We're gonna kick our own asses. Yeah.
So from here, you look like you could you can just kind of shimmy your way across through all these bushes to get to like the front door, or there's a large window here that looks like it opens into a classroom that you could just slip your way into.
Let's slip in through the classroom.
I agree.
Perfect.
It's unanimous. We agree.
All right. So as you open up the window into this classroom, you see that there are several students that are backed into a corner. They've made a little barricade of flipped desks. You hear them like shout and scream. There is weird fog that is sleeping underneath the door, presumably to the hallway beyond. But in the middle of this room is it is a dinosaur in a suit with a
I
Tommy
did not
gun.
see that coming.
Yeah,
And
no, that's a new one. Yeah.
Looks just like a Triceratops mobster, and has two thinner lizard-like bodyguards with like thick shades that are standing next to them. They look like they've been chattering about something about how do you best use and leverage the hostages for blood money. And then they see you, and the first thing as you are kind of crawling into this window is you're going to be sprayed with bullets from this Tommy gun, itchy trigger finger from the giant Triceratops hands. I'm going to need all of you to roll me an acrobatics roll to dodge out of the way before we all leap into
14.
combat.
8.
You, of course, do a nice
13.
flourish.
Eight.
Pass, and
Yes.
Cucaracha. 8. All of you, there's definitely this been itching for, I mean, ever since plunging your hands into corpses, you've been itching for action, and you dodge out of the way as these bullets just break out all the windows. You can hear various screams and police sirens whooping even louder from outside the building. But there's a lot of tinnitus that you're getting from having a Tommy gun go off point blank inside of a classroom. There's a little bit of a ringing sound, and at least thankfully it's drowned out the sound of all the kids screaming. So I want someone to be so bold as to roll me a d6 for the round robin initiative.
Okay.
Be brave.
I'll be brave. That's a 4.
All right, so you get the drop on this Triceratops mobster, and we'll go in order of my visual screen. So it's going to start with a Cucaracha before heading over to Rocket Man, then Suave. Finally, in the rear is El
Okay,
Toro.
well, what I would do is as we do all the dodging and getting out of the way of the bullet fire, I'm actually going to take flight. Since I have wings, I can actually fly. And I'm going to kind of assess the situation. And then what I want to do is go for one of the thinner little mobster guys and give him a flying clothesline to try to tackle him down.
Absolutely. So as soon as you even like get closer, as you start buzzing around, the two little reedy bodyguards are pressing like their earpieces for no real reason because they're all in close quarter, and they start talking about strategy of how to take you down, like loudly, like you could hear it. All right, so go ahead and make your attack. So you're going to be rolling muscle.
That is a 6, 8. That's a 10.
Up to 10. So you strike. Actually, as you even attack in the general vicinity of the Triceratops, this bodyguard just jumps into the hit to this make sure that his boss doesn't get hit at all. So you hit him full on.
And then I'm just going to hit him to the ground.
All right. And so let me roll down your damage here. So for you, So that is 2 plus your muscle and your muscles. All right, so that's 4 damage from you. Okay. So you pin him to the ground, and he writhes under you just like when you cut a tail off of a garter snake. He's trying to wriggle himself free to protect his boss. Next in initiative, Rocket Man.
So, question, like, do we have to use one of our special moves when we attack, or can we just describe what we do?
You can just describe what you do.
I choose to believe that it's a Triceratops with a Tommy gun. That just feels right to me. Yeah, I'm gonna do that thing to him where I run up his chest and kick him in the face, doing a backflip. Because I'm nimble as hell. So.
All right, make your attack roll.
You got it. That's just straight up 2 dice, or
so
advantage.
If since you're not using your special move, you're going to be just doing your attack. So that's 2d6 plus your muscle, and then if you had a relevant asset, you would use that. But it doesn't sound.
That's a 7. So I think that I wipe out. I attempt the kick and I don't stick it.
So when you try to land your kick, the other bodyguard just throws himself at you, and you tumble to the ground. Doesn't even let your hit connect with him. None of you take damage. You just kind of tumble and tussle together, and the entire time he's frantically trying to put his fingers into his earpiece to make sure he's hearing everything from his companion, who's also like a foot away on the floor next to you, being pinned by El Cucaracho.
I am
Suave,
going to go
you're
and
next.
elbow drop on the dude who Cucarache has pinned.
All right, so he is pinned. So because he's pinned, I'm going to go ahead and say that you'd have advantage on that since he's pinned.
Excellent. 13.
That is a definite. You definitely elbow slam him. Go ahead and so your damage then would be. I should have written that down.
Oh, wait, I've got it.
So that is just 2 damage from you. So as you slam down on him, you hear this crunching sound, and the bodyguard screams, "My spine!" And all of his limbs just kind of go out at weird angles, and he starts to drool from his side of his mouth.
Mission accomplished, I guess.
But that leaves last in initiative, El Toro.
El Toro, at this point, since everything has happened, he has already removed Ham Fund and put him on the ground with his little walker. I keep getting smaller in my personal headcanon. Yeah. And then proceeds to just make direct eye contact with the Triceratops henchman that's been shielding everyone, and he's just and then he just snorts out the stereotypical puff of smoke from his nose, and he just barrels his way down there to do a jumping double kick. I don't know if could I special move right now?
You can certainly special move. You can use the special move once per combat.
Yeah.
So is that what your choice is?
Yeah, the head scissor takedown. So I'm going to wrap both my legs around the head of the Triceratops, which could be a really bad idea, being horned animal, but you would think I would know that, being a horned animal character.
Mm-hmm.
Horn to horn. Horn to horn.
Yeah. Okay. So I go with my horn to their horn. And so that would be 3d6.
That is an
That's an automatic.
That's an automatic, and since it's a level 1 ability, you're inflicting an extra damage on top of your base. Mm-hmm. So altogether, you're going to be doing 4. Oh wow! So you're going to be doing 6 points of damage. So you No, wait. Correct me. Just make sure I'm doing this correctly. Are you targeting the mobster or the bodyguard?
I mean, I feel like it would be too cheap to go for the mobster at first. Like, follow me on this. In every story,
Okay.
you gotta take out the henchman first.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking out the henchman.
Wanted to make sure. So as you are charging towards this henchman, the henchman is tumbled down to the ground, gets up, and you skewer him on your horns, and you feel him thrash and just like beat at your helmet, and there's a lot of blood just running down inside of your mask. It's like weird, cold, because they're cold-blooded lizards. And after a while, he stops thrashing, and he's just stuck on your horns. Like his body is mangled and torn, and like when you try to pull him off, you can feel bones grinding. Like he's really stuck to your helmet.
Nice. I guess I have to lose my helmet.
Dino Mobster just says, "Fools! Those lackeys! I've got more of them where they came from. As for you," and you hear like the sound of like a fresh drum being slapped into his Tommy gun. He goes, "Well, lunch is served. Lead," and just like fires at you. He's going to fire at the closest person, which I feel at this point is going to be you, El Toro. So he begins unload. Go ahead and roll me your acrobatics.
All right, so that's no modifier, just 2 dice. 11.
Ooh.
Oh, just 11. Yes. So you definitely, how do you, I guess, cartwheel out of the way, or as you are just ragdolling this dead bodyguard around, spraying blood everywhere. Children are screaming in the corners. You're like hosing them with lizard blood.
The only obvious thing to do is at every.
Once again, Ian is just traumatizing the hell out of some children for the purposes of this show. It's not cryo ale this time. It's just cold lizard.
But it's hot
blood.
and it's oily.
And I'm all about it.
But no, the only obvious thing to do is to grab the head of the now lifeless Triceratops mobster guy, and to use his own head shield as a shield between me and the boss, and trying to ram his own henchman into him.
Point of clarification: the mobster is the Triceratops. The henchmen are thin, reedy, lizardy folk that are now broken and dead.
Well, I missed that.
So you'll need to kill. You need to kill the mobster in order to use his head as a shield for something else.
Challenge accepted. Dibs on the head.
Well, the dibs go to El Cucaracha. I guess it should be El Cucaracho, as it is his turn.
Okay, so both henchmen are pretty much
Your
done,
top
right?
initiative.
Okay, so then what I will do is, as the Triceratops is got his attention on El Toro, I'm gonna go behind and grab around his body with all of my extra limbs, and I'm going to use my special move. It's a suplex. So I'm going to do a belly to back suplex, lifting him up with all of the limbs and dropping him on the back of his head. Being as I have the extra limbs, it also says it grants advantage for climbing, fleeing, and other regular attacks. So
if you are using your special ability, that's already going to be an automatic success. But I will say, if you are using your extra limbs as part of that, I would fully think that you would get an extra 2 damage points, 1 for each limb, as you have more grip and you've got those little like claw-like appendages at the end of you. Okay. So for you, that would be your 2 plus your muscles would be 2, 4, 6, and then 1 from your special ability. So that's 7 points of damage altogether. As you pick him up, flip it, reverse it, Missy Elliott style, and slam him to the ground. He grunts and he begins to thrash out at you, and you hear him like getting to try to maneuver his Tommy gun in your direction. There's some crunching in him, but he is not down without a fight, and he's just like, that just
Stay down.
your death will be sweet. I know that bugs are supposed to be hard to kill, but I will squish you like one. Next in initiative, that's Rockman.
Let's see. So he's on the ground right now, right? The Triceratops.
Correct.
Okay, so that rules out that. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? Even though he's on the ground, I'm gonna spin through him anyway.
Hey, it's easier to pick up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him up, spin him around, and throw him back down on the ground.
Perfect. So you use your special ability, and you pick him up, and you start to flail him around. He sounds in utter surprise that you can pick up his weight, especially as you're kind of a scrawny thing. And as you throw him down to the ground, I feel like this is also a pretty good opportunity for like a witty Elton John zinger of some kind. Do you have any pithy wrestling thing you say as you fling your opponents?
Not this time. I've got things planned for other moves, but this one I didn't expect to use, so I don't have anything cocked and locked.
Well, he didn't expect
he
it
did not.
either. So he did not. So that is 4 points of damage as you slam him back to the ground. There's this terrible shattering sound. Even like keratin doesn't really shatter. You break off his horn and it scatters across the room. And he's like, I'm going to cut your cock off for that.
That's not witty. It's just...
That's just mean.
No, he's in pain. He's like, I'm going to put a new horn on this. I'm going to get your horn.
That's showing a little more effort. That's good. Okay, that's an improvement.
I mean, if I just got spun, I'm not probably going to be on my A game.
Fair.
Give a Dino Mobster a break.
No.
All
No,
right.
we hold Dino Mobsters to higher standards here in Wandering Monster. Specifically, that kind of mobster. Just
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Rest of them,
All right.
yeah, whatever.
So, Dino Mobster is in really bad shape. Lost his favorite horn. Do you think, Suave, you can finish off this dinosaur?
Yeah, I think I can. And in fact, I'm going to spray some perfume so that I can summon an ally here.
All right. So roll D3, and you will have D3 allies that appear.
That's great.
1.
All right. Great. Since you've got the die roll me D20.
13.
So you hear, as soon as you start to spray your perfume, running, you hear like shouting from behind you, the cordon. A reporter just like runs through the cordon and jumps into the window, just like wide eye, like smelling your like heart, like pheromone tainted perfume. He's got like the pencil in behind his ear. He's got the little notebook, and he goes, "What's the scoop?"
So we're with the scoop. Oh my God. Yeah, let's do the bonus attack. I mean, come on. It's like we're running out of time here. I want to make sure I can do my bonus attack. We'll do my special move, my backbreaker. I have a clarifying question. The pinstripe suit that the Triceratops is wearing, since he's quadrupedal, is that sleeves on all 4 legs?
Yes.
Or okay. Just wanted to know that. So I'm assuming it's double-breasted. So, all right. Let's see here.
Are you? I mean,
18.
So, are you using? What exactly are you doing?
I'm gonna go in and I'm going to go scoop him up, pick him up, and drop him over my knee in the backbreaker.
Okay, the dinosaur. I was trying to figure if you were going to use the reporter as like a weapon or something, or like suplex him into the dinosaur.
No, I'm just gonna have him record it. That's gonna be
all right.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Watch this.
breaking news.
My back.
She just like take the dinosaur and pull a Bane and just like break his spine over your leg, sickening crunch, and you finish off the dinosaur mobster. And like you, like the reporter is writing down like every onomatopoeia that could possibly be said to describe all the breaking of dinosaur bones. And you'll see that in tomorrow's newspaper that comes in the buoy for your to the houseboat. So you have dispatched the dinosaur. Children are still quivering in terror in the corner and covered in dinosaur blood. There is that door to the hallway, and there's weird fog that is rolling underneath it. You can also loot the corpses if you want to
I was
spend
just
the
going to say,
time.
is there anything on the Triceratops that we can
Yeah.
see if there's any sort of clues?
Can I take its head?
Does the jacket
Yes.
fit any
So-
of us?
The jacket fits El Toro best because of the large frame. The skinnier suits, if you kind of one of them would
Hell
fit
no,
Rocket
I'm
Man.
in love with my sparkly pinstriped or speed striped rather jumpsuit. Not trading in for a suit.
All right. So as you loot the monster's body, for some reason, in his as you're stripping off his pinstripe suit, he has a bear trap that he had like strapped on his backside for just the red occasion. Good thing it was never armed. And on the two little lizard henchmen, one has a stack of comic books, and the other one has a lunchbox.
I feel bad for the little guys now. They seem kind of
Yeah.
cool.
We could have hung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comic collection, for whoever takes it, will give you +1 muscle. The lunchbox restores D3 vitality up to 3 times. So,
I take just the
Next
Speedo
order of
section of
operations
the
would be you.
suit and I fashion it into a new pinstripe Speedo.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
you take his underwear?
No, I said specifically the Speedo section of his suit.
Yeah, the one that would be best
Not his
suited to make a
underwear.
Speedo. Yeah.
Okay, I was imagining he was wearing a business suit as a mobster, but I like
A
this
business
color.
Speedo.
I was imagining
I
that
have to
you-
be agile.
I was imagining that you figured that a 3-piece suit, like one of those pieces, was a Speedo that matched the rest of the suit. And I was going to applaud you
Absolutely.
Instead of the vest.
on your message.
It's a business suit for your
That's right.
business. All right.
You know, add it to our list of things we're doing professionally.
Love it.
Executive thongs, love it. Yeah.
Executive thongs. So that'll be part of that bear lounge that we're developing.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you exit the classroom and go into the hallway, you see that the hallway is completely filled with rolling fog. Like it's just kind of billowing and bubbling out of nowhere. And as it creates little pockets with the breeze, you can see like distant battlefields. You can see strange alien vistas, large mountain ranges. You can see down the hallway towards the front door, there's this loud clanking, and you see two, well, if you didn't know any better, they almost look like knights in full suits of armor. With one of them seems to be like brandishing a halberd, and the other one a bastard sword, or patrolling back and forth. And the fog seems to be becoming thickest down the hallway in the direction of the gymnasium. There are lockers on either side of the hallways, and there are other doors to other classrooms and bathrooms and such from this vantage point.
Well, should we go to head first into where all the thick fog's coming from, or do we just fuck about?
Personally,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as someone drawn to the drama, the fog is beckoning me.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Ian said something with swords, so my vote is going to be for the sword people, but I understand if I am overruled and I don't want to split the party.
If you had a sword yourself, I'd be willing to hear your case.
Hmm.
Like I said, I am willing to be overruled on this. I don't feel this way strongly enough.
As you are deciding what you're doing, one of those little pockets of fog, you can get this little view of like a dense jungle, and vines shoot out of it and begin snaking up the wall and begin to sprout in various almost fractal-like patterns, starting to take over the wall. It almost looks like it's breathing as like the vines and the leaves kind of heave in and out.
I'm glad we don't have to wrestle that. I mean, I think wrestling a vine would be pretty ineffective, ineffectual, both, either.
It'd still be a pretty good match, though.
It would only be a couple of seconds.
Let's head towards the fog rolling gym. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
As you were heading in that direction, your footsteps cause some of the fog to roll away, and there is a pile of just absolutely mangled teenagers that are jumbled together. Everyone needs to make a brain check, or else suffer a point of mental vitality damage.
So even with the 0 for my brains, I get 1 dice. Okay.
Yeah, so it's to be a straight 2d6.
All right. There's one of my D's.
And don't forget, you have your resolve points, hero points
9.
as well.
I just passed.
I did
Beautiful.
not.
Who did not
I got a
pass?
I got a 7.
I got a 3.
Remember, you could use your resolve points. Those bring up your roll to 8, so you can spend as many points that you want, unless you want to be intentionally horrified by this site.
I think that
mental
the complexity will make me more attractive, so I'm going to go ahead and embrace the trauma.
I
All
will
right,
elect to do
so
the other
for-
option if I can.
What's the other
You said
option?
that I could-
The resolve
Yeah,
points.
Yeah, so does
Yeah,
that mean I get an
resolve
extra die, or it just lowers it to...
No. So your resolve points, you spend them on a 1.1 ratio to raise up and pass something. So if you roll a 7, like in Kevin's case, he could spend 1 resolve point that changes to 8. So then he passes if he wants.
Which I will do. But how many resolve points? I don't see it on my sheet.
It's
I
on your
have
sheet.
3.
So
Mine
for
would do nothing.
Okay. So for you, Kevin, your resolve is interesting. I don't know why that fell off. So you should have.
Okay, then I'm
There we
definitely
go.
using a resolve point.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't.
as you start heading towards the gym.
I
What?
don't have enough resolve points to make it resolve. I rolled too low.
Then you take 1 point of.
What?
Okay, you take 1 point of damage to your vitality
Okay.
points from the horror. The horror.
-1.
So you beeline your way to the gymnasium. You see, as you are going past, that there are things roaming around in the fog. Unless you want to track their attention, I'm going to have each of you roll me like acrobatics or brains to stealth your way through the rest of this corridor. You see that there's even something that looks like a robot holding a large sci-fi style laser rifle that's clanking loudly, patrolling, scanning things with laser eyes.
Sweet by with an 8.
A natural 12. No,
Oh,
I
so
got
you
a
got
6
two
and a 5,
sixes?
but I use my acrobatics, so it's got a 1. So
Okay. If you roll double 6s, then you get a free hero point. Again, hero points can be used to get advantage on any roll, but you declare it before you roll it. Anyone fail?
Yeah, so does this affect my
Beautiful.
vitality again?
No. What it does is it attracts their attention. So the 3 that passed. You sneak on past, but you're kind of lumbering in the background, Toro, and like a bowl in a china shop. You trip over a mangled teenager, like one does, and you spill out and make a lot of noise. You also tumble into like a pile of like stacked tin cans and cardboard boxes and make just a gosh awful riot. The robots and the knights with the swords both turn your direction and see you and then they close in on you. The other three of you can beeline it to the
I
gym
love
if
that.
you
We
want.
can just be like, fuck that guy.
Or we could flank these guys.
Yeah. I don't think I leave no person behind, I think. So
No crime fighting luchador but left behind.
Mhm.
yeah.
So, for sake of time, we're going to play this out as like a montage of scenes. So, you see one set of tin men with guns advancing towards El Toro, with a different set of tin men, the actual knights, start to advance with their swords, and a brawl breaks out. Eventually, the tin men are locked in this battle of robot versus man, who's superior, especially when dressed in vestiges of steel. And they duke it out as a honor battle. You're able to scrape on by.
I like to think that both robots and knights, each of them think that the other one is making fun of them, like how they're dressed.
Yeah, that's precisely what I was thinking of. So we'll just say, for sake of time, that you take 1 point of collateral laser damage, El Toro, and for good measure, 1 point of sword damage. So you're collecting all those kinds of wounds that you saw in the morgue, but at least you got to see those swords up close and personal. And yes, they were authentic HEMA-approved swords. As actually, since I will throw you a bone, these are, well, true. They are period accurate swords, unlike a lot of the things that you can order off of Temu and Shein. These are the real deal. So you're basically watching these, sets of tin cans open each other like can openers, and it's grisly. Oil and blood everywhere. It's a massacre. All right. So, advancing towards the gymnasium, you see that there is a lot of fog rolling out from underneath the door, and there's just a slick of blood that is also poured out from underneath
my final
it.
guess is evil wizard. You
I love it.
guys
Let's see how
want
it
to make
plays
a
out.
final guess before we see what's behind door number
I'm
one?
hoping it's a Kiss style band.
Oh, that'd be dope.
It's got to just be another wrestler that this is the most elaborate stage entrance that any wrestler has ever done, or a bug.
Love it.
Always with the bugs. I was going to say the principal because he's a evil warlock type dude or whatever, but maybe he's a bug. Maybe we'll tag team or something. I don't know.
So it'd be like was it season 3 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that the principal was a demon, get ready to ascend? I think it was. Anyway,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm
whatever.
just disappointed no one's going to call back to Legends of the Lunch Line.
Good point.
That's a good game.
So,
Damn good game.
who opens the door?
I'll do it. I can dodge out of the way if anything goes too badly, I hope.
So you open the door and just a large wash of almost like a wave of fog buffets you. It carries with it the stench of the dead, but also a lot of different acrid smells of gunpowder, some weird musky animal odor, something that smells like dried, decayed leaves, and then this actinic smell like burnt wires and just energy gone awry. There's a large banner above you that says, annual science fair today. And you see through the very thick fog, just barely I can make out rows of tables with like dioramas and stuff. Very hard to see through the fog. In one corner, the opposite corner, you see that there is something like glowing and thrumming and pulsing with weird lights, a little bit like Encounters of the Fourth Kind. And towards the back of the gymnasium, where there's the stage, there is a gate. It is like a blue eclipse, 12 feet high, 6 feet large, and it is also thrumming and pulsating with blue electricity, like it's made of thunderbolts. In front of that gate, giant T-Rex. It roars this horrible sound, and unlike the poorly swearing Dino Mobster, the very kind of genteel of his suit, this is like the raw thing straight out of Jurassic Park. And of course, all your science books are wrong. It's not like a scaly menace. It's covered in feathers, and it looks like a kind of a big ass ugly bird thing, but it still is really terrifying. And you see those little like pathetic limbs are actually wings, and they tuck back, and it starts to kick apart tables and starts to trundle towards you.
Tiny wings.
Oh, excitedly. It makes a little almost kind of like the sound of Cucaracha's wings when it's like wing night at the local dive bar.
Does it shake its tail feathers?
Well, slow down there, cowboy. It hasn't evolved those yet. It just has the little pathetic wings. Give it a lot.
That's the best image of a T-Rex. I mean, I'm never gonna think of them any other way. Just like these little bitty arms, gigantic body, like
Behold,
a land-bound bumblebee.
Love it.
All right. So you see, kind of again, snapshots. Really hard to see through the thick fog. Science dioramas. Weird thing pulsing in the corner. Some type of portal-y thing. Giant T-Rex. This seems to be the source of all the problems.
So it would seem.
What do you do? Who wants to roll for initiative? Who feels lucky?
I'll go for it. D6.
D6.
2.
T-Rex is hungry, has not had enough beans, so it charges towards you and it attacks the first person, which I'm going to say is going to be you, Rocket Man, since you opened the door first, since you fell upon that grenade. So this is a super beast. This is like at the end of every one of these adventures, you fight a large boss-like figure. So that's what this is. So it charges towards you, and it's still pathetically flapping its wings. And the first thing it does is it tries to like throw down one of its legs to crush you. It looks halfway lizardly, halfway bird with a couple of feathers sticking out, but it still looks like it's enough to crush your plucky frame. So roll acrobatics to move out of the way.
Okay, yeah, I did that just fine. That's a 12 total.
Nice.
So you jump out of the way, and you can, as a free action, can grab a fistful of T-Rex feathers as you tumble,
I do
if you
so
so
choose.
choose.
Like to get a hold of it, or just to snatch them out for heat's sakes?
You snatch them out, you
Yeah, I'm
pluck
just
them
gonna-
out. Just a
I'm just gonna
fistful
yank
of,
a fistful of feathers as hard as I can, just to show that some bitch is
fistful of them.
Take that.
Yeah, they could be an awesome flourish on your boa.
Yeah. There's a T-Rex feathers. T-Rexes didn't have feathers.
So order of operations, we'll start again from the top and slide our way on down. So Cucaracha, are
Yes,
you
sir,
ready
yes,
to
sir.
kick ass?
What I'm going to do is, seeing this at all the fog and pageantry and lights and stuff, it brought back the tag team run that both Cucaracha and Toro had, and he's going to work on one of their combination moves. He's going to look at Toro, grab him by the forearm, and stare him like Stampede, and he's going to pull him and just slingshot him. I just pulled my headphones out. Slingshot him right into
I love
the
that.
T-Rex.
As you're doing that, The fog has been obscuring a lot of the floor, and there is just like viscera that is scattered everywhere and blood. So the first thing I'm going to need you to do is roll me an acrobatics check to make sure you don't slip on this ground.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was with your extra limbs and your little claw-like appendages. I'm going to give you advantage on that just because you are a bug-like thing.
Okay, so that's
The other people with boots, no luck.
11 plus the 1 in acrobatics. That's 12.
You
Yeah.
passed. You need 8. You need 8 or greater. Oh yeah, you crushed that. All right. So, are you doing this as a special move or just a general
attack? Really, I'm basically just going to slingshot Toro into so that he can just kind of like stampede into the T-Rex or do whatever special move he's got, but just give him that momentum, just pushing him into it.
All right. So you are getting an assist there, Toro, and so once you get to your turn, you can roll with advantage.
Fantastic.
Is that basically what you're? Is that
that's kind of what I was
for you?
thinking. Yeah.
Perfect. So next, Rocket Man, you just avoided being crushed by a giant T-Rex from the past.
Well,
How do you respond?
first I'm going to Disneyland, but after that I am going to I'm going to live up to my archetype. Now remember, my archetype is the human torpedo, and one of my special moves happens to be a battering ram. So I'm very El Toro-like, going to lower my head and thunder at them. Oh, it says jumps or charges. I'm going to choose to think that my legs are very strong for jumping since I'm so acrobatic. So I just basically jump off the wall and drive my head into its scaly and feathery belly.
Absolutely. So you fling yourself, catapulting yourself towards it, and you strike it for 4 points of damage in the gut. It makes a solid thud sound, and you feel a little twinge in your neck just from hitting a solid thing, and more feathers break free from its body that you can also snatch and scrabble as you want, as you kind of slide off of its chest.
Hell yeah, I'm pissing this thing off and I love it.
Doing the cannonball special, the side of feathers. All right. Next,
I am going to try to
Suave.
clothesline this thing. Just run at it and clothesline it.
Ambitious.
Right
Now, I'd like you to describe the scene because this is a T-Rex, so it is towering above you, and its neck is wider than your body. So I want to know how you're going to make this happen.
I'm going to use my acrobatics, and I am going to run and leap with my arm extended.
This is one of those times where you don't want a player to roll double ones, but boy, howdy, it would be really funny if you did. Now, are you going to be doing this raw or at any point? Because we have a short amount of left in runtime. No one has used any hero points. I'm just going to remind people that is available.
Oh, yeah. Let's use some hero points.
So if you use a hero point, then you get to roll at advantage.
All right, let's do this. Come on.
Go ahead and make your attack, Suave.
8.
Spot on. That is what you need to attack. So since you're doing it as a regular attack, that is 2 points of damage that you've inflicted upon it. You don't really clothesline it so much as you just flail your arm into its throat, and it makes a weird sound as if you put 20 chickens in a blender through a subwoofer as you hit its throat. You can probably assume that you didn't like that, but didn't hurt it too much. Toro, you have been slingshotted like a weapon. Yes. Actually, I almost feel like that should be almost 2 actions. Would you like to retcon that Cucaracha, basically using him as damage for a weapon and then giving him his own action, so he can be kind of a 2-part assist?
Yeah,
I was just thinking that might be fun because you have a All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you your damage that you would inflict as you basically, because he still has his horned helmet on with the body of a dead lizard on it. So we'll go ahead and treat that as your damage. I'm going to go ahead and just give that 6 damage from the bonuses from the two of you. So then, Toro, you have been slingshotted into the side of this T-Rex with the horn. Puncture its side. It also makes that terrible chicken warbling sound. What do you want to do with your action?
First, immediately after I pull my one of the, was it the Triceratops horn or my horns?
That are punctuated. Like, no one said they were picking up the broken off Triceratops horns, but I'll let you retcon grab that if you want that.
Okay, cool, fantastic. I would at this point be like right up on the T-Rex, so I look at its fluffy little yellow face because in my mind, giant little baby chick. I go, you mess with the bull, you get the horn, and then I pull the Triceratops horn and I jam it right into the eye of the T-Rex.
Love it.
Yes.
Make me your attack.
Okay, and that was 2 or 3d6. That's
2d6.
That's just 2, I think.
Can I spend a hero point to give him advantage?
Absolutely, you can. Thank
I
you
will
for
do
doing.
so.
Thank you for being such an excellent teammate.
Oh,
Tag team
thank you. But
champions,
I
dog.
already rolled an 8. Yeah, well, that's better. That's a 6. So and then with my modifier, right?
You
Or is that muscles?
you've passed. If you get an 8 or more, you pass. So all the other math is irrelevant at this point. So you are able to do your damage, and for the brute does a lot of extra damage. So that is 4, 5. So you do 5 point. I can use your asset with another 6 points of damage to it, and you shank it in the eye. You can see behind it, the portal is shimmering, and that weird thing in the corner with giving all the weird lights is starting to make weird, like beep boop, weird chime sounds, and it's starting to show, like, shoot off like little weird laser beams here and there, and you hear bestial screaming from the portal. And little shapes pushing up against it. Something is definitely happening here. The dinosaur does not look very happy with that last attack. It makes this terrible, loud, turkey-like screech as it begins to flail its wings ineffectually to try to get the horn out of its eye. Top of the initiative is it. It's going to be focusing on you, glowering at you with this one good eye, and it is going to try to chomp and swallow you. So it leans in and takes a big snap with its beak. Roll your acrobatics, Toro.
Okay. That is exactly 8.
Of course it is. So it snaps at you. And you roll on the floor out of the way, and you roll through this pile of viscera, teenager intestines, probably some little like lunch lady intestines. It's really gross, but at least you tumble out of the way safely as it begins to snap at you. Rolling some of the science fair project tables. Half of them, of course, are baking soda volcanoes, and it's snapping at you. You're like gashing from one table to the other, a la Jurassic Park. Cucaracha, you did your great double assist to help El Toro. Dinosaur is distracted, so you can do a couple different options you could take. What do you want to do? What calls to you?
Laser shooting metal box. I think I might bypass the T-Rex now, go over to that thing and see if I could throw it into the portal.
All right, so you kind of, I'm imagining that you're gracefully flying on your cockroach wings, and you part the mist, and you can really see through here. And it's like, you almost wish the fog could go back and cover up everything that's below you, because it's way gnarlier than it looks with the fog everywhere. Exactly. It's not pleasant. So this box, it has all kinds of strange protuberances on it. It looks nothing of earthly creation. It's both way too light and too heavy. roll me a muscle check to grab this thing, as it feels like it's almost anchored in two different
Okay.
points of existence.
Would the extra limbs, if I were to use those, give me advantage to lift it up? Okay.
It would. Yeah.
That is 9.
So you are able to pluck this thing, kind of unmoor it from whatever strange tethers it has, and you have it in your arms, and you fly over to the portal and throw it in. As soon as you start to arc it through the air, you see more T-Rex arms or wings starting to kind of push through, and you can see this really strange vista of almost like a kaleidoscope of different points of time and space constantly rotating. As you put the device through the portal, there's this loud puff sound, in between the sound of a soap bubble bursting and a sonic boom. And it slurps, it slurps up, taking the dinosaur with it, taking all these other weird things, the broken robots and knights, and everything gets sucked in. Almost everything except for the horror of all the human lives that have been just butchered wantonly around you. Takes all of that, pour the portal, and it closes it right in the nick of time. So maybe it didn't solve the mystery of exactly what's happening. No evil wizards, but you successfully have ended the threat to here, and all the surviving children and teachers are able to pursue all the many years of counseling that they will need to endure the siege and trauma of this episode. Of course, in about 1 week after all the blood has been mopped up, since it's a public school class is back in session.
That's about right.
So this was a science fair project the whole time? That's what I'm hearing?
Maybe.
You're not sure.
Yeah.
You're not saying I'm wrong.
Indeterminate.
If anybody wants to make a final brains check before we close out and transition to our ending announcements, I will mercifully allow you to have that. Otherwise, you're going to have to buy a copy of Crime Fighting Luchadores and play Science Gone Bad for yourself.
Let's leave it so that people can find out if they buy the book, and you can tell us in the green room after we're done streaming.
And I can just choose to believe
I normally do. What you guys forgot to do. I'm just kidding. All right, so thank you again, Head Cheese, for joining us and for sharing your game with us. Don't forget to back Kickstarter. I will change over to Charles with all of our outro announcements.
Thank you very much. So again, that was Crime Fighting Luchadores Lucha Extravaganza, and it's on Kickstarter until January 5th, I believe. Game by Martin, so bad at names, Willett, and Head Cheese Productions with art from Mustafa Bakir. Let's see. There's a new Flail to the Face episode coming on Friday with special guest Rugos Cone. That ought to be dope. Low Blasphemy by Judith Sonnet is coming from Madness Heart Press. It is releasing on Christmas Eve and is currently out for pre-order. If you go to our Twitter page or go to madnessheart.press, visit our Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, you can find links for it. And then next month, Porcelain by Nate Southard is coming, and pre-order should be available for that soon. Watch our various socials to find out more about that. Your Flight Has Been Canceled is an anthology with a story by our very own Bridget coming this month. Bridget, what is the name of your story in that collection?
It's a collection of travel-related horror, and mine is called Hard Case.
Love it. Oh, that's so cool. That has a double meaning. Love it. Cool. All right. I think that's everything we've got for you tonight. So, once again, join us next week. I believe John should be back unless I'm missing something, and I forget what we'll be playing, but I'm sure it will be awesome.
If
So join us.
if I'd
same
like,
bat-
if it might,
Go ahead.
we are actually going to be having a guest GM join us next week
Right.
as we are playing Let
right.
Us Build a Tower, which is kind of like a Babylonian Bronze Era game. And so we will have special
Right.
GM Caleb Wimble at the helm.
Nice.
Cool. Excellent. And yeah, so join us again next week for that. Please share our stuff around, follow us, like it, subscribe on whatever platform you are watching this on, and stay up with what we're up to. Again, I have
I've
been
been Bridget
Charles
Brave.
R. Bernard.
Ian Servas.
Oh, hang on just a second.
Is he doing it? Is he doing it? Oh, that's gonna go. Sure. Yeah.
Kevin Welch.
Bonus points.
I've been Mr. Paschke.
Shirt off.
Now take your shirt off.
And and until next time, yeah.